Hi everybody, this is Gijs again with another review and I hope you are doing well. This time it's a review about a power bank. It is about the Storm2 Liquid. And this power bank has proven to be very worthy to my work when I want to charge something on a remote location or even at home. So if this makes you curious, enjoy the review. And welcome back to the review on the Storm2 Liquid Power Bank. But before I crack on with talking about the power bank itself, let me introduce myself to those of you who just tuned into my channel for the very first time. My name is Gijs. I am a outdoor gear and sometimes bike and gadget reviewer. I live in the totally flat Netherlands and that's where I do most of my testing. But sometimes I've got a very beautiful opportunity, like this time when I'm on holiday with the family. We are in Sweden on a really nice remote location where I have of course been not only testing the Storm2 Liquid, but also a lot of other stuff, like for example the Soto Windmaster burner and the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. That review will be online shortly as well, and this one is in the making too. So if you are curious about what I do, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that makes my work really worthwhile. And if you hit the alarm bell, then you know when I uploaded a new video. Thank you so much in advance. Let's continue with the review on the Storm Liquid 2. It was brought to my attention after I posted a vlog on how I put a solar panel on top of my rooftop tent. Because in that video I mentioned that I was going to buy, because it was not available at that moment, a special power bank for that solar panel. And in the meantime I bought this Mojo gear power bank, the XL Extra Fast, which is I believe a 20,000 milliampere hour battery. In the meantime, because of this, the company SharGeek contacted me and asked me if I wanted to test the Storm Liquid 2. And in their email they refer every time to it as the 100 watt EDC power bank. So whatever name it is, I don't know, but I find it on their website as a Storm2 Liquid. So if you continue watching and you want to have a look at their website at the end, it's in the description below, so take a look at that after you've seen this video. Now the Storm2 Liquid, what brought my attention is that it is a ridiculously expensive power bank, and I'll tell you the price at the end of this video. Because normally when I'm looking for a power bank, I'm basically looking for the cheapest ones from China. And they work quite well in the beginning, but after a while I'm not too sure. Now that's why I agreed to let this one sent to me, and also because, well, I'm a tech nerd, but I don't know much about electronics. And this one, as you can see, it has got a transparent casing. You can see everything that's in there, all the transistors, the chips, all that other stuff. And on the other side you can also see the batteries. Now on this side you will see a little display, and probably you can't see it, so I'll put another shot in here because it's too light outside. But this display shows every function that you want, and with the button I can change everything. Now I mentioned the batteries already, they are inside here, and they are 14.6 volts, 6.4 ampere hours, and they are in total 93.5 watt hours, or 25,600 milliampere hour in total. So this is almost a 100 watt power bank. That's probably why they call it the 100 watts EDC. Now that was more on the technical part of the batteries itself and the capabilities, but what is also important of course is how you can charge the power bank and what you can charge, or what devices you can charge it with. And it has got everything to do with all the ports that go in and out of the power bank, of course. So on the side you will see a DC in and out, a USB-C in and out, there is another USB-C out, and there is a USB-A out. And of course, like every modern power bank, you can charge the power bank simultaneously when you're charging one of your devices. So in that way, I don't know how this is officially called, but it goes in and out in the same way, basically. What is important for me, of course, because I'm traveling a lot, sometimes with a backpack, that is, of course, that a power bank should not be too big and not too heavy. Well, this little beauty, it has a size of 150 millimeters by 58 millimeters by 45 millimeters. And in that case, it's a little bit bigger than most power banks that I often bring with me. Now, the weight, this one weighs 584.4 grams. Just a power bank. But the nice thing about this power bank, and I'll put it aside, because you might have seen the pouch laying around already. The pouch itself, I measured this on my precise scale as well at home, and it weighs 28.9 grams. And inside this pouch, and this is why I like the Storm2 Liquid quite a lot, because it is really a nice complete set, there is of course a very nice yellow and also very long, let me get this untangled, USB-C cable. And what is also sweet is that if you need to charge the power bank or something else, there is also a DC connector cable. But let me get the elastic band off. You can also clamp it onto, for example, a battery with these nice crocodile clamps. So in that respect, this is a really nice complete setup. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm not a geek nerd on technical specifications. I don't know how this thing operates on the inside, but I do know what I did with it in the months that I have been basically testing it. Because what I often have is that I bring my MacBook Pro with me on trips, and yes, a MacBook Pro, it runs out of a battery at a certain point of time. And with the Storm2 Liquid totally filled to 100%, I can extend basically the time that I work on my MacBook Pro with about 4 to 6 hours. And if I recall this correctly, it takes about 1.5 hours to charge my MacBook completely. So I think this is in that way a very nice device. But you see it here on the table as well. When on holiday in Sweden, I have been taking a lot of footage, of course, with the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. And yes, it's got a very long battery life, about maximum I measured about 30 minutes when it's not that windy. But when it is windy, it runs about 15 minutes. And then you need to charge, of course, the batteries. And I have noticed, because the Mini does not come with a charger, that with this one and the cable, I can charge basically the whole docking station or one battery in the Mini in about 1 hour time. And I think that is ridiculously fast, because then I can make more nice footage with the Mini 3 Pro, of course. Other thing is, of course, my iPhone 12 Plus. If this one is empty, I can charge it up to 7 times with this power bank. So for me, this one really makes a difference, because it is a big power bank and it's got a lot of capabilities. What maybe is a little bit funny is that with the Storm2 Liquid, there is not a charging device delivered with it. At home, I did this with basically a 12-volt adapter that I use for the lights in my studio, because they operate on 12 volts. But I can charge this one also with my car, for example. And you can use a DC charger which ranges between the 5 and the 24 volts. So even if you have got an older car which runs on 24 volts, you can still charge this very modern device. One thing that of course I did, and I mentioned this already in the beginning, I can charge this one also with the solar panel that is on top of my car. And there is a little adapter in it, but then you'll have to watch that video on how I installed the solar panel. But yes, that is possible as well. And it charges quite fast if you use for example, a 12-volt adapter. If you use a charging device which comes, for example, standard with an iPhone or any smartphone, it of course is way slower. Now, one thing that I particularly like about the Storm2 Liquid is basically this little screen. Because when I press the yellow button shortly, I get a lot of information in this very small screen, which is not visible now. What I can see, for example, is that if I put it onto a device that charges the Storm2 Liquid, then I can see exactly how many watts and how many amps it is charging. The same for any other device, and that's something that I really like, because I like to know basically what I am doing. And for example, this meant also that I can see when the sun is out there and the solar panel on my rooftop tent is doing its work, that I can see how much energy basically the solar panel is delivering. Now, the same of course for the outgoing energy. I can see exactly how many volts, how many watts, how many amps a certain device takes. Now, what I also do like is that in the top right corner of the little screen, there is this little battery, and that's the indicator for how much energy is left in the power bank. And at the moment it says 35%, because last night it's been charging the DJI Mini 2. Now, and the funny thing is that if you look at the manual, and that's the thing that I did not show you yet, this is the user manual. And this is all the information you get. And I asked SharGeek a couple of times, could you send me the real manual? Because, to be totally honest, this is for a device like this, and if you're not really aware of or really knowledgeable about electronics, but this is not that informative, does not give that much information. I also suggested that, you know, the battery symbol, the 35% that I see in here, I really have to have a very close vision to this, because the letters, they are really tiny. You almost need a magnifying glass for this. Now, there are a couple of more things that the Storm2 Liquid screen tells you. It also tells you, for example, what the temperature is of the whole device, and it tells you also what the temperature of the processor is. When I press this button a little bit longer, then I get into a screen with a lot of little symbols, and I can change a lot of stuff. For example, I can go from the DC output setup, and I can change how that one is working. Now, I did not do anything about this because, well, simply I'm not knowledgeable enough for this. When I pop to the next one, I can see how the status of every battery is, which I think is absolutely cool, because then you can see if there is a battery that is not running properly. I can change the units from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and I can also reset the timer. And I have got a display sleep when it basically turns off itself. And of course there is a power off function when I don't want the power bank to be doing anything, and the cross, the X, I exit it when I'm done. Now, and then I get back into the main screen and I can use the Storm Liquid again. And this is something that I've never seen on any power bank. That said, that was still quite a lot of information on a sort of small, very capable power bank. So it's time to head on to my verdict. How do I rate the Storm2 Liquid Power Bank? Well, I think this is a pretty cool device. Yes, it is a little bit bulky and it is a little bit weighty, but it did not bother me on my trips. So yes, it's not a negative point for me. The size, well, it fits basically in a lot of small pockets, so it does the job there as well. Now, on all the capabilities, the exit and the ingoing ports, and the display that gives me all this information and that I can tweak if I want to, I think this is absolutely top notch. Now, that is a lot of positive news. Like I said earlier, I have got the tendency, if I buy a power bank, just to go for a cheap Chinese one. Well, this one learned me to be different in this respect, because energy, it comes at a price. If you've seen the rates at the moment at home or of fuel, energy is expensive, so if you buy a device to store your energy and to use your energy, you better spend your money really well. Now, the Storm2 Liquid Power Bank retails for $199. And that's quite a lot of money. But would I pay this kind of money for a power bank with these capabilities? Hell yes, I would. And therefore I rate it at 9.7 points out of 10 total. Now, I really hope you like this review and that it is useful to you. And if it is, then please give it a like and also leave a comment below. If you've got any questions, remarks or suggestions, then please use the comment section, because I'm more than happy to answer everything that you can throw at me. Now, if you like my style of reviewing, I'm not being paid by manufacturers to make my reviews, so I'm totally independent, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the alarm bell so you know when I uploaded a new video. This is what I wanted to share with you on the Storm2 Liquid Power Bank, and from a very cool place in Sweden. I wish you all the best, enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Ciao, ciao! And now, because it is exactly 3 minutes to 11, I'm going to make myself and my dearest, who is operating the camera at the moment, a nice, really fresh coffee on the Soto burner with the milk coffee and with the VSSL coffee grinder. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did a review on that one. And most asked question, Gijs, what kind of pants are you wearing? Well, I am wearing the Loontax Authentic pants, and I've got a review on that one as well. Links below in the description. Bye.